Howdy, folks. I'm Tough Titania Fertillery, triumphantly tying together thorny twigs.
I'm Amber.
And here are more thorny twigs for us to tie together. So let's get started on that. Oh, and folks, there's a live stream coming up on Friday. For more information, please see the very thorny table at the end of the video. Let's get started. All right, folks, and our first letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Telling My Sister-in-Law That I Don't Want to Pay for Her Dog That She Manipulated Us Into Taking? I tend to ramble, so I apologize in advance. So my sister-in-law and her husband got a puppy that is a restricted breed. They live somewhere where aggressive/restrictive breeds are not allowed, and they were aware of that when they purchased her. But I guess that they were planning on hiding her and got her regardless of their location. Well, one night my husband and I get a phone call of her freaking out and frantically asking us to take her dog. We have to get her out tonight. I will drive her to you, they said. Well, they live 8 hours away and they have a newborn baby. We didn't want to take the dog because we have 4 cats and we're cat people. We like the calm and peaceful. And we told her that, and she was like, well, get rid of your cats? Excuse me? Well, fast forward, we crumble under her manipulative pressure and we take the dog in. We were planning on keeping her, and my sister-in-law wanted us to pay $1,500 for her. Apparently, they got her for $5,000. I thought that was steep AF, seeing as we did this as a favor, but we were keeping her, so it was whatever, I guess. Well, fast forward 1 week and we realize that we're not cut out for this. We don't have a fenced-in area in our yard, and my sister-in-law lied to us about her being potty trained. She vomited on my couch and defecated and urinated all over my house, and overall was just super destructive. Which, like, obviously she's a puppy, but the point is sister-in-law lied to us about her behavior. We decided that it would be best for the dog to be rehomed to a permanent home with a fenced-in yard and plenty of space for exercise. I searched for the right person for like 3 weeks, and I found a perfect fit, and she is now with them. So when we talked to my sister-in-law on the phone and told her that we rehomed her for $100, she was like, what in the world? And was getting all mad, and she was like, well, when am I getting paid? Like, she doesn't even care about the dog, she just wants the money. So my husband and I were like, look, it doesn't make sense for us to pay you. And she started freaking out and called me a effing B. She then called back and apologized, but only because mother-in-law made her. She proposed that we pay a lesser amount and can pay in monthly installments. And I was just shocked and put on the spot, so I crumbled and I said, I guess that's fine. But it's not fine, and I don't think that it makes any sense to be paying her. Edit, I just want to add that we did call her when we decided that it was too much for us so that she could take her back to the breeder or find another home for her, but she told us just to keep looking for a home. Edit 2, another thing that I left out is that she says that they're struggling for money, but they just got another purebred dog after dumping this one on us. All right, folks, what do you think?
No, not the jerk, and she is despicable. It is really horrible. Like, animals are a commitment. And if you know you cannot have one because of your housing situation, like, it's unfortunate, but you shouldn't bring an animal into your home and then just be like, oh, I'm shoving you off onto whoever I can. I do think it's important that OP learns to stand up to sister-in-law sooner. This should never have been OP's issue. And it's not good for the dog to be bounced from home to home. But at the end of the day, I think OP made the right choice by not keeping a pet that she couldn't care for and that wasn't working for their household.
Yeah.
And she doesn't owe sister-in-law a cent.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that OP can just explain to her that she felt under pressure to pay her for this, but that it isn't in their budget and that they can't do it. And I think that's just really what it boils down to. You know why they're tight on money is because they keep spending $5,000 on dogs. Why not go to the kennel and find a puppy or some other dog, or even an older dog, right? Because older dogs often are neglected at these kennels, and bring them home and give a dog a home if they really want a dog, right?
Well, that's it. Dogs are animals. They are family members. They're not just accessories. And so, getting a dog because it's aesthetic or whatever is it's really a shame, And purebred dogs a lot of times will have genetic issue, like health issues due to inbreeding and stuff like that. And there's not as much genetic diversity. So if you get a dog who is a mixed breed, like they are more likely to have a happier, like a healthier life.
Yeah, I mean, the way they get these dogs to be purebred is that essentially they inbreed them. And inbreeding can cause a lot of genetic issues, and it's just not a good or healthy practice, right? A lot of dogs are suffering, like pugs, for instance. They can barely breathe, right? Their faces are smushed and stuff like that. And doesn't make necessarily like the most healthy or enjoyable life for a dog. So I think it's really important to get dogs that are healthy, and it's this weird pure breeding type of stuff just needs to kind of end, because I think that it's just not great. I know not everyone's going to agree with me on that, but I just don't think that it's good for the dogs. If you can do it ethically, I don't care. If you can do it without making the animal suffer, I don't really care. But finding that way of doing that, I think it's very difficult. So I'm not criticizing all people here on that. I just think that in general, it's just not a good practice. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. And Lawyer Dad, 1981, says, why do you keep caving to this woman? She's being ridiculous, and she should have no traction with you. You don't owe her a penny. The only thing that you are is out of a whole bunch of time and effort and trouble for taking care of her mess. Please, I'm begging you, not a nickel. Not the jerk, though. And OP replies, it's because this woman is very manipulative and good at what she does. And I'm unfortunately easily manipulated. And I mean, people downvoted OP a lot for that comment. But I mean, understanding what your shortcomings are is the first step to helping you overcome those shortcomings. And at least OP has awareness, right?
Yeah, it might be good for OP to work with a therapist
Yeah.
on how to set boundaries. Because it doesn't make you a bad person, because you are, like, I am someone who is very gullible and can fall for things easily. And so, I understand that, like, so I think it's, could be really good for OP to work with a therapist who can help teach her how to set boundaries with a manipulative person.
Yeah, I mean, that might be really worth OP's time and effort. It might be a better use of the $1,500, right? Again, like, being aware of your shortcomings, there's nothing wrong with that. And I don't think that people should downvote OP just because of that. They're aware that this is a problem. That, they're not telling her anything new by downvoting her this, right? And Purple Weasel says, stop saying that you're easily manipulated. That's not an okay thing for an adult with responsibilities to say. It's like saying, I pee my pants regularly. Like, okay, it might be true, but the problem is that you need to fix it ASAP, and it's not okay part of your personality. The thing is that it's not like OP said that this was, a reasonable place for them to be at. They just stated as a fact that they're easily manipulated.
Well, and the problem is the manipulators, not like, sometimes people act, it's victim blaming again.
Yeah.
But, if everyone in the world was an honest and caring person, it wouldn't matter how gullible and how easily manipulated you were, because no one would do it.
Yeah. Why did you let that robber rob you at gunpoint? Well, because they had a gun and were aiming at me, right? I mean, like, this isn't, OP's fault that somebody tried manipulating her. And, like, while OP has self-awareness, it's something that they are acknowledging that they have to work on. And OP replies, I never said that I was okay part of my personality. It's not. I have mental health condition, and I've been in therapy for years. It's not like I'm not trying. And OP continues, and I don't have a child? My sister-in-law does. I did not fail to protect anyone. No one was harmed. My cats were fine. I think that people just need to chill. And, OP is clearly working hard on making themselves a better person, or, working on these things that might not make their life as fulfilling as it could be.
Well, that's it. The important thing is OP doing this for themselves so that they will not keep being manipulated, and so that they will have a better quality of life.
Yeah. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Not Letting My Daughter's Boyfriend Propose at My Vow Renewal? I'm a 50-year-old male, and I've been married to my wife for almost 25 years. We are planning on throwing a huge vow renewal in December, and it's basically going to be like a second wedding. The whole shebang. We have 7 kids together, and this regards our little baby girl, Lala, a 20-year-old female. Her boyfriend came to me a little over a month ago and asked me for her hand in marriage, and also asked if he could propose at the vow renewal. He's a great guy, and we get along super well, and I genuinely like him for my daughter. I said yes to both originally, and I was super excited. A few weeks passed, and he asked if he can also invite a few family members to this. I was expecting maybe his parents and siblings, but instead, he sends me a list of 25 family members that he wants to add. I have a few problems with this. One, his family does not like my daughter. They are Asian, and they do not like that their son is with a black woman. And considering that nearly everyone there will be black, to be fair, my daughter says that he always sticks up for her, and I have witnessed this myself. 2, he expects us to fund these people like regular guests. As I mentioned, this would be just like a wedding, so an extra 25 people is a lot of money. I told him that I couldn't accommodate that many people, and he got angry and said that I was ruining his special moment and that I don't really care about Lala, and said that I can't do anything if they just show up. I said that they will absolutely not show up, and then I told him that he still had my hand/permission to marry my daughter, but that he was not allowed to propose at the vow renewal. Now him and his family and my 2 sons both say that I was being a jerk and should just get over it. But my other kids and my wife say that I'm not the jerk and that he's being ridiculous. Obviously, Lala does not know about any of this. Am I the jerk? All right, folks, what do you think?
Not the jerk, and I think it may be time to reevaluate how good of a person this individual is. Because he is not showing the markings of a good person right here.
Yeah.
It was one thing to ask, but to expect someone to foot the bill for 25 extra guests, that is excessive. And then basically insinuate that, oh, well, you're going to be paying for them whether or not, like, you can't stop them from showing up. That's not okay. He basically has told OP flat out, I'm going to hijack your event. And so I think OP was trying to be, a generously offered to share their event.
Oh, yeah.
And the son-in-law to be, unfortunately, tried taking advantage of OP's kindness, and now he's going to deal with the consequences of his own actions.
Yeah, I think that OP is well within their rights to refuse this, and that they can also say that if they want to have 25 extra guests, then they need to pay for those 25 extra guests on their own. This is a very unreasonable ask here. Like, a couple of extra guests OP was fine with, right? But, wedding plates at weddings can be very expensive here, right? And OP was already being very generous with sharing their vow renewal, right, with this special event. And I mean, I can understand, like, a wedding and a vow renewal are slightly different in the respect that, like, one is, reaffirming love and stuff like that, and that can be a really good time for something like a proposal or something like that, right, as long as everyone's on board with it. But, yeah, I don't blame OP at all in this particular case. I think that he gave an inch and the son-in-law took a mile type of situation. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck. All right, folks, and our next letter is titled, Am I a Jerk for Making My 10-year-old son Pay Rent Out of His Birthday Money Because He Keeps Leaving the Lights On? I'm a single dad and honestly stretched thin. Bills are really high right now and utilities keep going up. I'm paying alimony on top of that, and my kid has this habit of leaving every single light on in the house. Bathroom light, kitchen light, his room, and even the closets. I'll come home and the whole place is lit up like a football field. I've told him over and over and over to stop, and he just shrugs and says that it doesn't matter. Well, this past weekend was his birthday. Family gave him about $200 in cash, and I told him straight up that since he likes to waste electricity, he can start contributing. So I took $50 out of his birthday money and called it rent. I explained it to teach him responsibility, that bills aren't free, and that if he wants to act careless, that he can pay like an adult. He cried and said that I ruined his birthday. My ex is mad at me and says that I'm punishing him for being a kid. My parents think that I'm teaching him a good lesson and showing him the value of money. Honestly, I thought that it would make him think twice about leaving every single light on. So now my son barely talks to me, and my ex is telling everyone that I'm cruel. And I'm starting to wonder if I went too far. Am I the jerk for taking rent out of my 10-year-old's birthday money? All right, folks, what do you think?
Yeah, I think OP, the big issue here is you went from 0 to 60 on this. It seems like he had no consequences outside of a verbal reprimand, and then all of a sudden you're taking $50 of his birthday money.
Yeah.
Were there not any other, like you never had a sit down conversation with him and explained to him, like I mean, you told him that it costs money, but like, there should have been other like intermediary things and at least warnings. Like there are other ways you could have handled it that wouldn't have gone straight from like, oh, well, there's no consequences to, oh, now I'm taking $50 of your birthday money.
Well, I think that it was an acceleration. I think that it escalated very quickly. I think that OP could have sat him down and explained about him being stretched thin and saying, look, I can't afford for you to keep putting the stuff on. And I know when you said that it doesn't matter, it does matter. It matters to me. And then say, like, if he continues to do this, then maybe he'll go and live with his mom or something like that, right? And that he's, can't afford to have him here if he's not going to respect his rules or something like that, right?
Or maybe just like classic groundings or things like that. Take away the electronics.
Yeah.
Or
And those could be, different things that could work as well. I think that OP was trying to do a responsible thing in some ways. I don't know. I think they may have been, monetarily motivated, but also like, hitting somebody where it actually is going to make a difference is also a good way of driving a lesson home, right? Like he's saying, look, if you're going to spend money, if you're going to spend my money, then we're going to take money away from you. I understand it in principle. I think it was the wrong approach, but I understand in principle where he was coming from.
well, I feel like there's a difference between saying if you do this, you won't get this versus taking something away. So like,
Yeah.
oh well, if I have to spend all this extra money on electricity, I'm not gonna have money for your Christmas present.
Yeah.
There are again ways he could have handled it without actually like literally taking away the son's money.
Yeah, and I think that showing him that there is like a repercussion for leaving the lights on would have been a really helpful approach. And I think saying, "Oh, you're not getting Christmas presents because I can't afford them because you keep leaving all the lights on," is a great way of incentivizing him to keep the lights off. But let me know what you folks think. So anyhow, take care and good luck and get some LED lights. But folks, let's see what the Wheel of Judgment has to say. Wheel of Judgment, turn, turn, turn. Tell us the judgment that OP's earned. Centrifuge.
I mean, that seems a little excessive. It seems like the wheel is on a power trip again.
The wheel is a little drunk with power. All right, folks, it is tea time. Grab your beverages of choice. I've got some tea right here. And Amber, she has a joke.
Why did the alien join the marathon?
Oh, to get to the other side.
Because they wanted to be part of the human race.
Ah, that makes sense.
And it's Be Kind to Humankind Week and also National Just Because Day.
Yeah, so if you're an alien and out there and you're thinking of blowing up our planet, be kind. Because you have to be, because we made up a holiday specifically for that. So, don't blow up our planet, thank you. Don't make room for a highway, a hypergalactic highway or something like that. We're just fine, thank you. And I have Earl Grey. So long, and thanks for all the fish. All right, folks, that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for watching. Happy wonderful Wednesday, Hump Day, Friday, Junior's Eve. And folks, we have a live stream coming up on Friday. So for more information, please see this table here. Amber, we need some kind of moral advice and or guidance, and please have it a haiku for Haiku Wednesday.
If you want a pet, it's a lifelong commitment. Don't pass off to fam.
I like it. Thanks so much for watching, and we'll see you all tomorrow.
Bye.